Let me begin by asking you something that may feel uncomfortable but deeply relevant. When was the last time you worked on a single task without checking your phone, without switching tabs, without thinking about something else in the background? If you are like most people, that moment is rare. We live in a world where being busy is glorified. People take pride in juggling multiple responsibilities at once, constantly shifting between emails, messages, meetings, and personal distractions. It feels productive, it feels like progress. But what if this habit, this constant multitasking, is actually weakening your intelligence? What if it is silently reducing your ability to think clearly, remember effectively, and make better decisions? This is not just about productivity, this is about how your brain functions at its highest level. And today we are going to uncover the truth bit behind multitasking and how it is shaping and limiting your potential. For years, we have been conditioned to believe that multitasking is a valuable skill. The more you can handle at once, the more capable you appear. It gives you a sense of control and efficiency. You feel like you are maximizing every minute, but in reality, multitasking is not productivity, it's fragmentation. What you perceive as efficiency is often just rapid switching between tasks, creating an illusion of progress. Over time, your brain adapts to this pattern. It becomes comfortable with distraction and begins to resist deep, focused work. This shift doesn't happen overnight, it develops gradually, and by the time you notice it, your ability to focus deeply has already been declined. Let's take a moment to truly understand what multitasking is. Most people think it means doing multiple things at the same time, but the human brain doesn't work that way, especially when tasks require thinking. What you are actually doing is switching attention rapidly between the tasks. Imagine working on a report, then checking your phone, then replying to an email, then returning to the report. It feels continuous, but it's not. Each time you switch, your brain stops one process and starts the another. And this constant shifting creates a mental load that most people don't even realize they are carrying. The truth is simple but powerful. Your brain can't truly multitask when dealing with complex activities. Instead, it switches focus, and every switch comes with a loss of efficiency. Think of it like trying to watch two movies at the same time by switching between them every few seconds. You might catch bits of both, but you won't fully understand either story. That's exactly what happens when you multitask. Your brain keeps resetting, losing context, and struggling to maintain depth. Over time, this weakens your ability to stay engaged and think critically. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a price. This is known as the cognitive switching cost. It involves stopping one mental process, shifting attention, and re engaging with another. While each switch may seem small, the cumulative effect is significant. By the end of the day, your mental energy is depleted not because you worked deeply, but because your brain was constantly restarting. This leads to slower thinking, increased mistakes, and a sense of mental exhaustion that feels difficult to explain. Now, let's go deeper into how multitasking affects intelligence itself. Intelligence is not just about knowledge, it's about how effectively you process the information. When you multitask, your brain operates at a shallow level. You skim instead of analyze. You react instead of think. Over time, this reduces your ability to solve complex problems, retain information, and make thoughtful decisions. You may feel busy, but your thinking becomes less structured and less effective. One of the most overlooked effects of the multitasking is attention residue. When you switch from one task to another, a part of your attention remains stuck on the previous task. This means you are never fully present in what you are doing. Even when you try to focus, your mind is partially occupied. This reduces clarity, lowers the performance, and creates a constant feeling of mental clutter. It's like trying to have a clear conversation in a noisy room. Your attention is divided and your effectiveness gets dropped. Creativity requires depth. It needs uninterrupted time and mental space to explore the ideas, connect thoughts, and generate insights. Multitasking disrupts this process completely. When your brain is constantly switching, it never reaches the level of focus required for creative thinking. You stay on the surface, reacting instead of creating. Over time, this limits your ability to innovate and think beyond the obvious. Memory formation depends on focused attention. When you multitask, your brain does not fully process the information, which means it doesn't store it effectively. This is why you may read something and forget it quickly or struggle to recall the details from the conversations. Over time, this weakens your learning ability and makes it harder to build knowledge. You are consuming information, but you are not retaining it. Multitasking doesn't just affect your thinking, it affects how you feel. Constant switching keeps your brain in a heightened state of alertness. It increases stress hormones and creates a sense of urgency that never fades. You feel like You are always doing something, yet never fully completing anything. This leads to anxiety, burnout, and mental fatigue. It's not just exhausting, it's overwhelming. One of the biggest dangers of multitasking is the illusion it creates. You feel busy, engaged, and active, but activity doesn't equal productivity. True productivity is about meaningful progress, not the constant motion. Multitasking often gives you the satisfaction of being busy without delivering the real results. When you try to do more at once, the quality of your work suffers. Details are getting missed, errors increases, and overall standard gets dropped. High quality work requires attention and care, both of which are compromised when you multitask. Over time, this affects not just your output but your confidence and the credibility. For leaders, multitasking can be especially damaging. It reduces clarity, weakens the decision making, and leads to poor communication. A distracted leader creates a distracted environment. When you are not fully present, you miss important details and fail to guide your team effectively. Multitasking also affects your personal relationships. When you divide your attention during conversations, people feel ignored and undervalued. Over time, this weakens trust and connection. Being fully present is one of the most powerful ways to show the respect, and multitasking takes that away. Technology plays a major role in the multitasking. Notifications, emails, and applications are designed to capture your attention. They interrupt your focus and keep you in a constant loop of distraction. The more you respond to these interruptions, the more your brain becomes conditioned to seek them. Social media amplifies this problem. Constant scrolling trains your brain to expect quick bursts of stimulation. This reduces your attention span and makes it harder to focus on the task that requires patience and the depth. Over time, your ability to concentrate weakens significantly. Some people argue that multitasking can improve efficiency, and in certain situations, like simple, repetitive tasks, it might. But when it comes to complex thinking, learning, or decision making, multitasking fails. It is not a strength, it is a limitation that appears useful only on the surface. The solution is simple but powerful. Focus on one task at a time. Complex thinking requires focus. Multitasking works only for low level tasks. Single tasking allows your brain to operate at its full capacity. When combined with deep work, long uninterrupted periods of focus, you unlock higher levels of thinking, creativity, and productivity. This is where real progress happens. Take a moment to appreciate your brain. It is capable of incredible focus and the intelligence, but it needs the right conditions to perform. When you become aware of how you use your attention, you begin to make better choices. Gratitude leads to awareness, and awareness leads to the control. Start small, turn off unnecessary notifications, be grateful for your brain's capacity, and respect your attention. Set specific time blocks for the focused work. Take breaks intentionally instead of reacting to the distractions. Build a daily routine that prioritizes the focus. These small changes can have a powerful impact on your thinking and productivity. Over time, these habits leads to stronger intelligence, better decision making, and more effective leadership. You can focus on your daily routine upgrade, morning focus time, limit distractions, review progress. You become more focused, more creative, and more present in everything you do. The benefits extend beyond work, they improve your overall quality of the life. Long term benefits, higher intelligence, better decisions, and a stronger leadership. Let me leave you with this thought. In a world full of distractions, focus is your greatest advantage. Protect it, train it, respect it, because the quality of your focus determines the quality of your thinking, and the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life.